Hello everyone, and welcome to the Sonora Writers Group Reading Room. I want to introduce our guest today. Our guest author is Kristin Fulton. She's an extremely talented young woman, and she's going to tell us about her children's book today.
Yes, I'm going to read today from the novel Snake Food, which is a middle grade novel. And it is contemporary with another book I wrote called The Haunting, which is also a middle grade novel. And I recently finished my adult book, which is called Sisters of the Soul. All three of them are available locally in Tuolumne County at Mountain Bookshop in Sonora, at the Columbia Booksellers and Variety Store in downtown Columbia, and also in Jamestown at Here's the Scoop.
Great.
Today, as I said, I was going to read from Snake Food, and to give you a little bit of background, Olivia and Theo are a brother and sister. Their parents are physicians that have gone off to a Physicians Relief Society engagement, and they are working to help earthquake victims. And they volunteered for a year, you know how they do that. And so they got called, and they're sending Theo and Olivia to spend the time that they're gone with their great uncle Austin. Now, Olivia's not too happy about it because she wanted to take ballet all summer long. What happens when they arrive in the station at Bedford Falls, nobody's there to meet them. They think it's very strange, and they get a cab. And the driver knows Uncle Austin because it's a small town. And so here we go. The taxi turned down a long driveway lined with graceful elm trees and stopped in front of an enormous 3-story house with 2 curved towers jutting up on both sides of a steep slate roof. Theo's eyes widened and he whistled admiringly. Whew, I didn't know that Uncle Austin lived in a mansion. Yep, it's a mighty nice house, agreed the cab driver. It has quite a history. I believe it was built in the 1860s, and of course your uncle has added on to it. The driver opened the trunk and lifted out their baggage. That'll be $15.80. Olivia gave him a $20 bill from their money their parents had given them. Go ahead and keep the change. The driver thanked her politely, wished them good day, and drove off, leaving Theo and Olivia and their pile of luggage in the middle of Uncle Austin's circular driveway. This isn't looking good. Theo pointed to the shuttered windows, which gave the house the appearance of being empty. Uncle Austin doesn't seem to be home. Well, there's only one way to find out. Olivia lifted the handle of the brass knocker shaped like a lion's head and rapped it sharply against the huge, beautifully carved oak door. They waited, but no one answered. She rapped a second time. Theo tried to peer through the slats in the shutters, but he couldn't see anything. Maybe Uncle Austin is asleep. At 1 in the afternoon? I doubt it. Olivia paused and grinned mischievously. Maybe he's dead, she said in her spookiest voice. That isn't the least bit funny, Livy. Theo lifted the heavy knocker and banged it. Hello, he shouted. Is anyone home? Suddenly the door swung open. A tall, shapely woman with a sharp nose and carrot-red hair knotted into a messy bun stood in the doorway. A pair of wire-framed glasses sat on the end of her nose and had the effect of magnifying her close-set brown eyes. Her arms were tightly crossed over a gray silk robe, and Olivia had the impression that she'd just woken up. May I help you? She eyed them suspiciously. Her accented voice was harsh and unfriendly. Olivia couldn't quite figure out what country she was from and made a mental note to ask Theo's opinion. Hi. Theo offered his hand. The woman did not take it. I'm Theo Hazelsmith, and this is my sister Olivia. We're here to visit our great Uncle Austin. This is his place, isn't it? The red-haired woman eyed their pile of luggage. It is Professor Hazelsmith's home, but I know nothing of this visit, she said. Her sharp voice was unwelcoming. He was supposed to pick us up at the train station, said Olivia, but I guess he forgot or something. The woman's eyes widened ever so slightly. Just a minute, please. She slammed the door shut. Olivia looked at Theo and raised her eyebrows. This all seems pretty weird to me so far. What do you think, Theo? That does seem strange. Maybe we should leave. Where would we go? Asked Theo. The police station might be a possibility. Or the nearest orphanage? Olivia giggled. Since when did you decide to be a stand-up comic, Livy? Your act isn't very funny. Oh, chill out. Olivia grinned at him and ruffled his hair. They waited nervously for the unfriendly woman to reappear. After what seemed like a long time, the door swung open and the woman stepped out. She had changed from her robe to a businesslike black suit and had tidied her hair. At her side stood a thin, bony man with a rough, pock-marked complexion. He was completely bald, but the lack of hair on his head was made up for by a pair of extremely bushy eyebrows that looked like caterpillars crawling across his forehead. He wore a matching mustache on his upper lip. I apologize for closing the door on you before, the woman said in a friendlier voice. I am Professor Hazelsmith's housekeeper, Mrs. Zelinsky, and this is Mr. Trokov, the professor's laboratory assistant. A pleasure to meet you both. The man bowed from the waist. You may call me Vladimir. Olivia noticed that when he spoke, he had the same accent as Mrs. Zelinsky. What nationality are they, she wondered. Hungarian? Or maybe Turkish? She and Theo introduced themselves and shook hands with the strange couple. The housekeeper broke the awkward silence that followed. Well, come in, she said, and Olivia could tell that though she was trying to sound pleasant, Mrs. Zelinsky was not happy about their sudden appearance.
Cool. Very nice, very nice. Well, I certainly want to know what else happens. Does he show up?
There's a lot of excitement in the book, and there's some surprises, and we do have to rescue Uncle Austin from the grips of these two villains who are after his secret formulas because he's an eminent scientist who's developed something they want in their desire to conquer the modern world.
Well, I think any child, maybe 10 to 14, 15 even?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even... You know, me?
Yes, well, I like to think
would enjoy that very much.
They're for all ages.
And then are you doing the pictures? Is that your art?
No, this is not my art. This is Molly Hart's art.
Okay.
And I am doing the illustrations for my new book, which is Henry Bingle's Transformation, and that's one of the things that's been keeping it held up a while.
Oh, you?
Anyway. Yes, I'm slow.
Doing your own art?
I'm a very slow illustrator.
Well, you're a beautiful artist in your own right.
Well, thank you very much.
So you have she has a lot of talent, obviously.
Oh, geez, thanks, Jill.
Okay, one more time, recap. Where can we find your books?
So we can find Snake Food, The Haunting, and Sisters of the Soul, and soon Henry Bingle's Transformation at the Mountain Bookshop in Sonora, at Here's a Scoop in Jamestown, at Columbia Booksellers and Variety Store in Columbia, and also online at Amazon.com and other venues that have all that, have ebooks and so forth. And you have one of them in audio. Yes, and I will have Snake Food as an audio, and also there is going to be a radio show for Henry Bingle's Transformation. That's right, and that's at KAAD-LP 103.5 FM in Sonora. And I want to thank everyone out there for joining us, and don't forget, pick up your copies. Thank you. Thanks.